Okay, PET test tomorrow. Just so y'all know, PET stands for post EOC topics. That's all that means. Okay, so knowing that, we're going to get started. So it says in a right triangle, the shorter sides are these. So when we're talking about a right triangle, we're talking about sides A and B. Okay, so A and B, remember we call those the legs. My pen just died. We call those the legs. Okay, and then it says the legs, like we just said, are the sides that meet to form a right angle. Okay, the other side, or the opposite side to the right angle, this side is called our hypotenuse. Okay, that's our C. This is our A and B. Okay, then it says the Pythagorean theorem is, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Congruent means same size, same shape. Remember, you have that fancy equal sign. Complementary. So remember, complements are always right. They add up to 90 degrees. Okay, supplementary, if it's not 90, it's 180. So this is what supplementary looks like, sorry. And this is what a complementary looks like. So knowing that the angle, so now we're getting into like the real math. So the angle below is written as, so this is naming our angle. So I want you to realize it could be MNP, or it could be PNM. So if we look, I realize N is in the middle. So doesn't have N in the middle, doesn't have N in the middle, doesn't have N in the middle, so it has to be C. Okay, looking at number 9. It says name the angle below. Well, it's a right angle, and I know that because of that box in the corner. So acute means it's a smaller angle than 90, and obtuse means it's a bigger angle than 90. Okay, this one says which angle is a right angle. So I know this side is a right angle, so BXC, which is my answer, because it has the box. Remember, that tells me that it's 90 degrees, which is a right angle. 11 says which is an example of a pair of complementary angles. So remember, complements are always right, so that's 90 degrees. So we're going to literally just add them and see what they equal, and whichever one equals 90 is my answer. So we can use our calculator. So 13 plus 45 is 58, so that's not my answer. 10 plus 170 is 180, so that's not my answer. We're looking for complementary. 81 plus 9, if I type in my calculator, is 90. So that is my answer because this equals 93. So C is my answer. Okay, here we are. So it says, what is a complementary angle of the angle whose measure is 84? So if we have, not very complementary, two angles, and this one's 84, we want to know what's this one if it's complementary. So you're going to do 90 minus 84. And when we type that in our calculator, I get 6. So it's going to be 6 degrees. Okay, so which is an example of supplementary angle? So supplementary is 180 degrees. So again, we're going to add them. If you notice, they're the same as the last ones. So we can keep our same measurements. Before we said this was 58, we said this was 180, we said this is 90, we said this is 93. So again, we're looking for which one's 180, which is B. Okay, then it says, what is the supplementary angle of an angle whose measurement is 112? So again, we know supplementary is 180, and we can subtract 112, because remember, when I see supplementary, I know something plus something equals 180, and we already know one of them is 112, so the opposite is to subtract. So we're going to do 180. Might have if I start over. 180 minus 112, not that. And I get 68, which is D. Okay, look at 15. 15 says, in the diagram below, AC intersects BD at point B. Okay, what is the name of the angle equal to 4x? So 4x is this side, so it'd be ABD. Or DBA. Remember, B is in the middle, so this one doesn't have B in the middle. These all have B in the middle. So ABD, AB, nope. ABD, yes. And this is DBA, which is not those. So D is my answer. Okay. 16 says, what is the measure of YXB? YXB is here, which is 20 degrees. Okay, the next one says, given AXC, AXC is 180. What is AXY? So if we know this is 180 degrees, we know this is 20, and we know this is 90 because it's a right angle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add these and subtract. So 180 minus 90 minus 20, and whatever that equals is my answer. I didn't really add them, but same concept. 180 minus 90 minus 20, and what's left over is 70. Okay, what is the measure of AXB? AXB, well, 70 plus 20, 70, 80, 90 is 90 degrees. Here, so we're on a new picture now. It says if ABC is 60, ABC, so the whole thing is 60, and ABD is 25. Find DBC. So we're looking for this. So we're going to do 60 minus 25, and whatever's left is my answer. So I get 35, which is A. Okay, let's look at number 20. 20 says find the length of the unknown side. So this is where we're going to use A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I'm going to label my sides. This is A, and I know across from the right angle is C. So 40 squared plus, we don't know B, equals 50 squared. And we need to get B squared alone. So I'm going to do minus 40 squared on both sides. And I get B squared equals not 10 squared. We have to type in our calculator. So 50 squared minus 40 squared is 900. And then I have to get rid of the squared with the opposite of squares to square root. Square root cancels the squared, and we get the square root of 900, which is 30. So A is my answer. Okay, looking at 21, same concept, find the length of the unknown side. So we know A, we know B, we don't know C. So 2 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. And again, we're going to use our calculator. And we're going to do 2 squared plus 8 squared equals 68. Okay, and then again, I have to get rid of that squared, so I'm going to square root both sides. And if I do the square root of 68, I get this. So C equals, and if it says round to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 decimal places, so 8.24 or 25, it's going to be 25 because of the 6. So D is my answer. Okay, this one says which set of sides would make a right triangle. So we're just going to do the same thing. This would be my A, B, C. Remember, your biggest number is always your C. Biggest number is always my C. Biggest number is always my C. And we're going to type them in our calculator. And we're going to do A squared plus B squared equals C squared and see what happens. So here's my calculator. I have A squared, 4 squared, plus 5 squared equals 41. And then if I type the other side of the equal sign, which is 6 squared, I get 36. And those are not equal, so that's not a right triangle. So remember, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 5 squared plus 12 squared is 169. And then if I type 13 squared, I can also get 169. So this is a right triangle. We can double check. 8 squared plus 10 squared equals 12 squared. So 8 squared plus 10, not 12. So again, that gets 164 equals 144, which is not true. And then 5 squared plus 10 squared is 125. And then if I do 12 squared, that again is not equal. So B is my answer. Okay, 23 says a rectangular park is 50 yards wide. So I'm going to draw a picture. Rectangular park is 50 yards wide and 100 yards long. Patrick walks diagonally across the field. So diagonal means one corner to the opposite corner. Okay, and it wants to know how far he walked. Well, that makes a triangle, and it makes a right triangle if it's a perfect rectangle. So if that side's 50, this side's 50. So we can use this as A, B, and this is our C. So 50 squared plus 100 squared equals C squared. So our calculator comes in play. 50 squared plus 100 squared equals this big old number. Now I'm going to square root both sides. And I get square root of the answer, which gives me 111.8, which is A. Okay, here says use the diagram below to find EF, lines in EF. So if I know these two combined equal 39, so we get 3x. Go over here. Equals 39, and we're going to solve for x. So minus 27. Use our calculator. So 39 minus 27 is 12. Divide both sides by 3, and we get x equals 4. But remember, before we circle 4, we need to go back and read. It says find EF, which is not x, it's 3x. So 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, look at number 25. Given AC is 31, so remember A to C is 31, so it's a lot like that one. Find x. So we know that this plus this equals 31. So we're going to combine our like terms. So x plus 3x is 4x. Negative 2 plus 13 is positive 11. And now we're going to solve. So we're going to move the 11 minus 11 on both sides. Gives me 20. Divide both sides by 4. And I get x equals 5. Now we got to go back and read the question. It says given AC, find x. X is 5. 5 is my answer. Okay, let's look at the last page. So this one says AB is congruent to BC. Remember, anytime we see the word congruent, we're setting them equal. So AB is congruent to BC, so this equals this. So I'm going to move my x's to the left, so minus 0.2x. And I get, not negative, 0.2x minus 1 equals 3. And I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And I get 0.2x equals 4. I'm going to put the 0 so it's obvious it's a decimal. And then I'm going to divide by 0.2. Get x equals, I'm going to use my calculator for that one. I get 4 divided by 0.2, which is 20. And it says, what is the value of x? So we're done. Don't let the decimals throw you off. We still treat them the same. Okay, last two problems. It says xpy. So xpy is equivalent or congruent, sorry, to UPV. UPV. So this is congruent, sorry, to this. And it says, what is the value of y? Well, I can set them equal to each other if I know they're the same. So 3 parentheses 2y plus 7 equals 39. So I'm going to distribute. Follow the don't cry my dear, distribute first. And that gives me 6y plus 21 equals 39. Sorry, I don't know what I was about to write. Okay, now I'm going to solve. So I have to move the 21. And that gives me a number I can't think of off the top of my head. So 39 minus 21, which is 18. Divide both sides by 6, and I get y equals 3. So C is my answer. Okay, then it says if xpv, this whole thing from x to v is 115, find x. Well, I know that these two angles make up that whole thing, so this plus this equals this. So combine my like terms, and I get 12x plus 7 equals 115. Minus 7, minus 7. I get 12x equals 108. Divided by 12, divided by 12. And that equals 9. So A is my answer. Okay, this is what your test is over. If you have questions, make sure you ask your teacher. Have a great day.